Okay, we are officially at 8:30 p.m. Welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown. Hey, Saturday night. My name's Ron, I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to welcome you all here. A couple quick announcements. Our anniversary is April 27th. We have a free mini convention being held in this room. 7 speakers from up and down the East Coast go through the big book, all 12 steps. Not so much in order, but they're going to go through all 12. They'll be recorded. It'll be available to you free of charge. We have a free lunch here. It's really important to follow us on the Facebook page, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown. And not only from this group and what we post, what's going on, but you get to see things that are going on in like the tri-state, 4-state area. Something going on every single night of the week. In fact, I think they got the Cape May roundups right now. I just came up from there. It's pretty cool. Put that in your calendar for next year to make that. It's a lot of fun. What else we got to announce? Oh, I don't know. We'll think of something. What? Oh, Monday night there's is that Ambler Media? Media Speakers Group. They got Myers Raymer coming in, and they will not have enough room for nobody, so don't even go over there and eat their food. It'll be packed. It'll be a lot of fun. We have Chris, his brother Chris, coming here in December. They're going to do a mini convention workup. So if you can't do that one, but it is worth it. If you've ever been to Myers, and they're going to have Terry's going to be speaking for Alan on there, so it'll be a lot of fun. It's about 50 minutes away from here. Probably got some flyers in the back. If you have any flyers for any anniversaries, please place them back there. I always say I love anniversaries. Free food and a half decent speaker. I'm driving it, right? So that's what we try to do here. We try to give some free food. Food and fellowship goes out at 8 p.m. So anyway, let's get going with the meeting. Here comes Nick to chair this.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick. I'm an alcoholic. Welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a 1-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday night at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, 301 North Main Street at 8:30 p.m. in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. The business meeting for this group meets every Saturday night at 7 p.m. until 7:30 right here. The purpose of this group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God reliance and practice and teaching of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from the message of recovery. If you do not wish to be recorded, simply ask. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. Is there anyone new or from out of town that would like to introduce themselves with their first name? Yes. Hello, welcome. Hi, Renee. Oh, hello.
Alcoholic Tim visiting from South Jersey.
Hey, Tim, welcome. Yes, sir.
Richard visiting from Manhattan.
Hey, Richard, welcome. All right. The Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Lord, anyone with working knowledge of the 12 steps and is willing to sponsor, please raise your hands. Excellent. Are there any announcements from the floor for the good of AA? We already touched on a few. Yes, you in the back getting coffee.
My name is Ken, and I'm an alcoholic. Living sober group, Cellarville Group of Alcoholics Anonymous is celebrating their 70th anniversary. It's at Main and Church Street in Cellarville. 7:30 fun food and fellowship, and speaker at 8:30.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks.
Yes.
I'm sorry. May 13th. Thanks. Sorry.
My name's Heather, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Heather.
Tomorrow night is ODAT's anniversary, which is one day at a time group in Telford. It's usually a candlelight meeting. Food and fellowship start at 7 to 8, and then at 8:30 is a speaker. And that is on Hamilton Street. It's in Telford. It's not terribly far from here. If you have any questions, you can see me.
Thank you, Heather. We have meeting lists and big books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you cannot afford a big book, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of big book and CDs to help those who can't afford them can put donations in the jar on the table marked big book and CD donations. If you'd like a CD of any speaker, past or present, please see myself or Ron before or after the meeting. They are available free of charge. And with that, we have Scott to come up and read the AA preamble. Scott A.
My name's Scott, and I'm an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And I have Teresa coming up to read the AA 12 Steps of Recovery.
Hi, I'm Teresa. I'm an alcoholic. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Thanks for reading.
We have a 7th tradition which states every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting and declining outside contributions. At this time, I'd like to pass the basket. We have no dues or fees, but we do have expenses. This group provides many services. Your donations cover rent, big books, CDs, events, and workshops. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody who donates food and brings all that food over there. It's an awesome thing to have at the meetings. A lot of work goes into this meeting, so thank you to that. There's absolutely no smoking on church property. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and limit movement during the meeting to avoid distractions. I'd like to introduce our speaker now, a good friend of the Conscious Contact Speaker Group, from Port Fishington Group, from Croatia, Ante K.
Hi everybody, Ante, alcoholic. I'm freaking out. I hate doing this. Thank you, Ron, for inviting me. I want to thank the group for having me here. Like I said, I really don't enjoy doing this. I'm freaking out. I'm nervous. And I'm an alcoholic. That's probably the most important thing. Obviously, hear my accent. I'm not from, Doylestown area. I insisted on geographical cure for alcoholism, and here to report that this continent is not working either. I did not know what's wrong with me. I did not know what's wrong with me. I was relieved when I ended up in AA to find out that I have alcoholism. I come from a loving family. I'm youngest of 3. There's no dysfunction. There was no abuse. There was no kinky uncles. They were inappropriately touching me. There was just like a perfect childhood. But as far as my memory goes back, I just felt off, always. Just always felt weird, awkward. I was a weird kid. Looking back, I was a weird kid. I was weird looking. I was about 6'2" before I was like 10 years old. Big ears, yes, oh my God. It was big ears, big nose. And I did not like myself, let's put it that way. I remember reading a bunch of my family I have a bunch of physicians in the family. Both of my sisters are doctors. I remember, I don't even know how old I was, 9, 10, 11 maybe. I remember reading one of the medical magazines were all over the house. I was reading, it said, and I was already freaked out about the size of my ears and my nose. Like I said, I remember finding a magazine and it said there are 2 organs in human body that never stop growing. It's your ears and your nose. And I remember freaking out, like having a panic attack. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna look like a Yoda in 10 years. It was just rough. Life was rough without alcohol. I stayed sober for about 13 years. And sobriety sucks for an alcoholic. And then I picked up a drink. Like I said, I was about 13 years old. I come from, different place than you guys here. We don't have a Puritan system of society like you guys have here. So we don't have a law for underage drinking. There is no such thing. Kind of pretty good deal for alcoholics. And that's it. I went to bar with my buddies and I got loaded and what makes me an alcoholic, what happened to me. Not what happened to me that night, what happened for me that night, what alcohol does for me. And what alcohol does for me, I was just okay being me. Alcohol, to put it as simple as possible, alcohol just makes me feel better. I just don't feel okay. I just don't feel good. Something is missing. I don't know what's missing, but there's a missing piece. When I get loaded, everything is fine. I'm not shorter, my ears didn't shrink, my nose didn't shrink. I was just the same guy. I just was okay being me. And I love that feeling. And that's what alcohol does for me. Alcohol changes my perception. Alcohol does exactly the same thing these steps do. Identical thing. It changes my perception. I am blackout drinker from the day one. I had blackouts, goddamn, when they first came out. I was always in a blackout. I didn't even know, I thought everybody drinks like that. I didn't even know there is a name for that. I used to call them time travelers. That's it. Alcohol was the fun. It was just like you go, you get loaded, you wake up, your body's telling you stupid shit you did last night, and it's like, yeah. It was a lot of fun. From that point on, I don't know. I felt you gotta be really stupid to wait for a weekend to feel like that again. I drank as much as I could, as often as I could, and like I told you, I'm fine. Alcohol completes me. Alcohol makes me okay. I'm sober. I am angry kid, and that came out in my drinking. I'm always fighting. I'm the guy that's in the bar staring at you. That's this guy. Staring, until you have to say like, yo. And then I say, what the fuck you looking at? And let's rumble. I apologize my language, but that's me. I just loved fighting. I don't know where that comes from, but that was just always, every time I would drink, I would just get in an argument, I would just get in a fight. I don't know. Finished first grade of high school. I was, 15 at the time. Young, up and coming alcoholic. My country got caught up in. I come from Croatia. I always give a little quick history lesson when I speak, because I used to have like a big resentments. I remember moving here on a scholarship. Every time I would say something, someone would say, "Are you Russian?" I'm like, "No." They say, "Well, where are you from?" I'm like, "Croatia." "Well, yeah, that's close to Russia." I'm like, "No, asshole, Philly's closer to Russia." I would just be so aggravated and resentful. So I do not abuse this privilege, but I use this privilege just to clarify some things. I am from Croatia, far away from Russia, on the Mediterranean, and Croatia was part of Yugoslavia, and Yugoslavia was communist. 1991 came out, and we declared independence, and the Civil War blew up overnight, and everybody between 18 and 55 were drafted. My best friend was drafted, and what I did, I was going to come as a surprise to you guys, but I have a big ego. And and I watched too many Chuck Norris movies at a time, I guess. And I joined the military. That's what this guy did. And I joined the military, and I thought, just gonna handle this war situation, real quick so we can all move on. And what ended up happening, I ended up serving in war for the next 5 years. Broke my mother's heart. It was a circus, and for the next 5 years, I did everything you do in war. I seen everything you see in war. I wasn't sober for a second of those 5 years. Because sobriety sucks, and there's not too many Saving Private Ryan moments in a war. Everybody's petrified 24 hours a day. That's what war is. I don't know anybody been in active combat, but that's what it is. And I was drunk 24 hours a day. To put it in a perspective, there were a few times, there would always be liquor and ammunition. There would be a few times there would be no liquor. And I would straight walk to the infirmary, get ethanol, jugs like 5-liter jug of ethanol. It's like 97% alcohol. If you take a swig of ethanol, you're going to go blind. That's what's going to happen. I knew that from biology class. It was just like a matter of how to put this in my system and kind of keep my vision going. There is a way, and listen carefully. Get a rag, you get an ethanol, pour it in a rag, and you rub it in your head. Works just fine. Anybody not done drinking yet, try some controlled ethanol rubbing. See how that works out for you. During those 5 years, I was shot. I was wounded twice. And because of my injuries, I got addicted to morphine, and eventually I got addicted to heroin. And I always say that out of the respect for Alcoholics Anonymous. I hate speakers that come from the podium and talk about powder form of alcohol, because that shit doesn't exist, and we all know that. And I also do not come here and introduce myself as an alcoholic and a drug addict. Never. Because I'm not a drug addict. And the way I see it, if you take heroin and you give it to any human being on this planet, and I mean anybody, you'll get addicted to it in a week. That's it. But if you give alcohol to any human being on this planet, only alcoholic gets addicted to alcohol. So I belong to a very small group of people that have allergic reaction to alcohol. That's it. My drug addiction is just like my drug addiction. And my addiction ends and I stop using. That's the end of it. But my alcoholism starts right there. That's the beginning of it. But I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue what's wrong with me. So now, after 5 years of service, war is over, I'm retired, and I'm insane. I would probably be insane just being in the service for that long and coming back in civilian society without having alcoholism on top of it. But now, fun is over. Now I get up out of the blackout and my gun is completely discharged and I don't know what I did last night. Shit like that start happening. I'm the guy out of the big book who is trying to control and enjoy my drink. So like, don't do this. Don't drink hard liquor in the morning, drink wine, hide. Anybody try to hide booze from yourself? Like this guy, many times. I'm doing everything possible. Like I told you, half of my extended family is in medical field. My 2 sisters are doctors, so something's wrong with their baby brother. And this is how my drinking looks up now. I come, an incident, come in a bar. I think these 2 smoking twins want to get with me sexually. All about it. What's really going on? And that's the story of my life. There is like what I think is going on and what's going on. And even the story that I'm giving you tonight, if my mother comes and speaks and all the people that are involved in my story, there would be a different story. So it's just like what I have, it's my perception. That's it. As close as that's to the truth. But I see these 2 twins smoking, like I said. what's really going on is just like one chick. I was already seeing double, and she was there with her husband, and yeah, he wasn't into me at all. Well, by the end of that night, I just got stabbed all over my chest, coma, hospital, bloody mess, bloody murder. Won't survive, kind of story. Obviously, I survived. 3 days later, I wake up out of the coma. I'm in the hospital, plugged in on every goddamn piece of machinery. My mother was there, my sisters, and the girlfriend at the time that I had. And that's the first time that I said, like, I'm done. I love you, and I'm done doing this. Like, this is BS, and I don't want no parts of it, and I'm sorry, and I don't want to do this for myself. And that's cool, but alcoholism don't give a shit what you want to do. Because that's alcoholism. It's a different human perception. Like I told you, I would come to the bar, music sucks, chicks are not good looking, and as soon as I walk in, I'm like, I measure every dude there. In 2 minutes, that's my entrance. I'm like, give me 5-6 shots of tequila. I turn around, she lost 30 pounds. What do you want to drink? I love this place, music is awesome. That's what alcohol does for me. Changes my perception. You know what I mean? I also want to put a disclaimer. I'm here just to share my experience. I don't want anything I say here tonight, any one of you, to take as a personal indictment of what I think you should be doing in AA, because I don't give a you-know-what. So please, don't have to come at the end of the meeting to correct me about anything that's feel offended or whatever. Because I got like a bunch of people coming to me after the meeting. When you say something, I was like, buddy, it's my experience. I don't know what to tell you. So like I told you, hospitalized, dying, I'm never going to do it again. And I meant it, like I said, I don't know the condition that I have. And the condition that I have, I don't care what I want. And I said, I'm never going to drink again. Alcoholism, don't care. Because of my injuries, I was like so stabbed and injured that I was pretty much nailed to that bed for about a month until they plugged everything out of me and they put me in a wheelchair. First day they put me in a wheelchair, I got loaded and overdosed in the same hospital. What's wrong with you? You're crazy? I am. I know, I am. I don't know what's wrong with me. And then I start coming up with these ideas that everything else becomes a problem. You know what I mean? I live like a parasite. I live like a big baby with umbilical cord just waiting to plug in whoever. And then when I take every emotion and every dollar bill out of everybody around me, I go to the next host. I know you guys don't live like that, but that's how this guy lives. Not because I'm evil, not because I'm mean, but just because, there's no life inside of me. I have to suck it from somewhere else. And those are my relationships. I can't stand being around, people who love you don't see you the way you are. They see you the way they want you to be. And a guy like me abuses that. Like I said, because I'm selfish. And I don't even know that. And then I decide I'm just going to leave everything. And I'm like, I always wanted to be a zoologist. Quickly, I was like, slowly lost a bunch of years for being in the military. But this time I was already finished at school and I went to business school. And my mom would know that I hate business. I went all the way. I always wanted to be a zoologist. My mom would know this, but I want to be happy. And I think happiness equals money, property, and prestige. So if you're a big shot in life, that will equal peace that I'm always looking for. My mom would see that to me and say, why are you chasing money so much? It's not going to make you happy. I'm like, Mom, only the broke people always say that. I had to find out for myself. She was right. She was right about a lot of things. A lot of people are right about a lot of things. It doesn't matter what it takes for me to learn. I learned my lessons on my own roads. But that was it. I decided to move. So Croatia became a problem. Everybody around me became a problem. For the next 5-6 years, there's not enough time. I speak 5 different languages, just to put it like that. I speak 5 different languages because of the geographical cure for alcoholism. That I'm like trying to rediscover myself somewhere, and it's going from place to place to place to place, just like destroying everything in front of me. There's the one line in the big book, it says we had moral convictions, but we couldn't live up to them, no matter how hard we tried, because needed power wasn't there. Story of my life. I remember living in Germany. My middle sister, she's been physician in Oslo, in Norway for, 20 years. And I remember getting in touch with her. We didn't see each other in years, and she's like, why don't you come over, you're close, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I'm like, sure, I have good intentions, I want to see my sister. Not too far, me and my buddy were going together, and this is just the story of my life, story of my alcoholism. I'm between Denmark and Finland. We're going to board these boats, I'm talking 100 restaurants, you park 1,000 cars, like it's a city, it's not a boat. And in one restaurant, a couple of shots of tequila. See my sister Tamala, it's all good. And that's what happens to me. I don't know what's going to happen when I take one, and I take few, I'm dancing on the table, which I never do unless I'm drunk. Police is coming. My buddy's in the restroom. Police on the boat doesn't even have some kind of uniforms. They look like a waiters, basically. So they take me off the table. My buddy comes out of the bathroom, thinks some dudes. Long story short, officer gets punched in the face, and I wake up, like I always do. This time it's a prison cell. They have prison cells for assholes like me, on the boat. Like, on the boat. So there's a prison cell on the boat. It's on the bottom of the boat. And there's like just everything is steel, and you just pull like a bar that you can sit on. And I don't even know what happened. Like, trying to figure out, the cops come. Oh my God, it's just terrible. The shit we laugh at. So the cop is obviously injured, his eyes all, like they're trying to translate what's going on. So basically they tell us, you guys made a mess in nowhere land, so you can pick a country that you want to get deported from. But you're not going to go to Norway. So it's either Denmark or Finland, and you're getting shipped home. So we're like, well, whatever. So they take us to the Kingdom of Denmark. They shackle me, and they take us to the first airport, or the only airport, whatever. We landed, and they stop entire airport for two of us. They're taking us like hardened criminals. Everybody's looking at us, thinking, what's going on? We're like, I don't know, just a bunch of drunks. And I was banned re-entering the Kingdom of Denmark for 10 years. And they deported me back to Croatia, and I called my sister, of course. Like, she's like, well, you're supposed to be here 3 days ago. And I go on these explanations, and before that, when I woke up in that prison cell, that's the, part that describes my alcoholism. I don't know what happened. I'm like, beneath the surface of the Northern Sea between Denmark and Finland, I wake up out of the blackout, and my first thought is, fucking Mexicans, I'm never drinking tequila again. It's like, it's getting out of control. That is, it's you. It's not this guy. And that's why I tried to tell her how it's not my fault. She just hangs up, and she's like, I know, it's not your fault, boom, done. And our next conversation was almost a decade later, because this guy holds on to stuff like that. I went back to Croatia. I got this girl pregnant real quick, because that was another idea of mine. I got to settle down. Everybody's settling down. I'm being a phase that's kind of going on a second decade by now. So maybe I need to settle down, get a family going on. I've been dating this girl on and off for years, so we just kind of get back together. I got her pregnant, we're going to get married, and the same thing. I suck a life out of you. To the point there's nothing left, and she's done with me. There'll be no wedding. I'm doing the abortion, and that's the brief moments of sobriety that I would have would just be really short, and I always thought the reason I can, first of all, it was a long period of time that I didn't want to stay sober. I like drinking. I love everything about drinking. Even today, alcohol saved my life long enough to come to you people. If I didn't have alcohol, I would commit suicide when I was probably 18 years old. So in my opinion, thank God for alcohol, and that's the story of my life. But I also knew another truth, that I'm so toxic to everybody. There was no delusions that I can blame you and tell you it's my father, it's her, it's this. But deep down inside, I always knew it's like me. I'm the common denominator. I'm so toxic, I don't even know how to say, like a radioactive material. Anybody exposed, prolonged exposure to a guy like me gets you hurt. And I always knew that. Like when she left me, I was done drinking. I was like, I'm never going to drink no matter what. But alcoholism don't care. And I stopped drinking on my own. And that's why I don't need AA to stop drinking. I don't, because I stopped drinking without you guys a million times. I have that experience. And I stopped drinking, and on the outside, I like turn it up a notch. I'm like, school, like basically when you take alcohol away from me, the guy like me doesn't stay hungry. I will replace it. There's women, school, work, gym, whatever makes me feel good. And then on the outside, everything looks good. 2002, I got a scholarship, come here on my senior year. That's it. In my mind, I'm sober now 2.5 years, losing my shit. And I'm thinking there's a hump somewhere that I gotta get over and everything will be fine. And I'm like, I'm leaving the continent. It's all gonna be good here. I don't know nobody. Everything's gonna be new. Come here and I get your American dream. Real quick, graduated, Temple, bought a house in Lower Merion, fancy 2-car garage. Future looked bright, making shitload of money. And now I'm 3.5, 4 years sober. I'm driving every year. When I drive down to Schuylkill, even today, I get like, ugh. I'm driving to Schuylkill every morning, going downtown to work. And like I told you, I'm like about 4 years sober, and all I want to do is turn on the 18-wheeler and end it. Like, sobriety sucks that much. Like, I want to end it. Like, and I don't know what's wrong with me. What I do know is therapy, because I spent years in therapy. And I hire a therapist, and I go to my, first session, and I tell her, my story. I'm lying, of course, but also I'm telling a lot of truth and demons and insanity, and something's wrong. And she tells me, and I'm quoting her, she said, Ante, that's normal. I'm like, what do you mean that's normal? You got to be on top of your class. She said, it's normal for international students to feel a little alienated when they come to a foreign country. I'm like, you don't understand. It has nothing to do with me being here. I feel like this on a Christmas dinner with my family. That's how I felt my whole life. Like I'm waiting for a goddamn mothership to pull in and tell me, Ante, we dropped you off on the wrong planet. I'm like, thank you. Take me home. Take me home. Like, that's how I felt my whole life. She had prescriptions. I wasn't into prescriptions at all. You know what Big Book talks about? I don't even have that either. Insanity prior to first drink, zero insanity in my life. I know exactly where alcohol is going to take me, and I want to go there, because sobriety sucks that much. And I went there, and the education or booze, career or booze, it's going to be booze. Respect of your family or booze is going to be booze. And next, 2.5 years, everything went out the window. I'm going to come here and tell you this some sob story. Alcoholism, there's a lot of people here. Alcoholism didn't took nothing away from me. Nothing. Not a single thing. A guy like me, I'm always 100% willing to trade everything inside or outside of me for the feeling alcohol gives me. Period. End of story. After, fancy house in Lower Merion, there was homeless in Kensington. It's where I ended up. I always thought I'm really tough. I'm not. What I am, I'm dangerous when I'm full of fear. That's, I know. When I'm running the streets, I'm running them just hoping there will be, I don't have balls to end it myself or commit suicide, anything like that. But I'm just hoping there'll be some asshole just like me in some dark alley can put a bullet in me and end it for me. I would probably say thank you if there would be a breath in me left. That ended January 24, 2004. I woke up like I usually wake up out of the blackout in the morning. But this time I was in the backseat of a pickup truck. Two guys were driving, one of them turned to me and said, "What's up, G?" I was like, it was just bizarre. I'm like, what's up? There was a lot of snow. They found me laying in the snow. How sick we are. I'm like, who are you? What's the deal? They were sober members of Alcoholics Anonymous. They found me laying in the snow. They put me in a truck and took me to my first AA meeting. That's what they did. And my first AA meeting was in a place, maybe you guys know now, it's torn down, called Last Stop. There was no name to the building. I was the first crew of people that ended up there. And the guy, actually from Texas, Troy, named it Last Stop. So they brought me to this goddamn meeting. It's like an abandoned building. There's no roof. There's a blue tarp over the roof. It's like a podium like this. Here I expose like joists. There's like a basement, like a hole here. And dog with 3 legs is running around the room. And this guy's been homeless for a while. And I'm looking at you guys, and I'm like, wow, what a bunch of losers. Look at this crew. Because that's what it takes me to come. I don't think anybody's coming here looking for a way in. I'm looking for a way out. It takes me 2 seconds to separate from you. 2 seconds. I'm like, this is some American bullshit. That's how I thought. Some American bullshit has not. I'm like, I thought you guys had a problem with drinking. That's what this is about. Because I don't. A problem with sobriety, not with drinking. So I thought you guys are people who have a problem with drinking. So you guys have your little organization or society that you guys kind of hold on to one another. And then when one decides, man, I want to drink tonight, the other one like, no. Like, thanks, buddy. And it was cute, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, because I wasn't one of you. I didn't have that. I have something else. I'm special. I'm a unicorn. How many unicorns died in Alcoholics Anonymous? I know many. Like, if you get anything from me here tonight, catch alcoholism. Catch alcoholism as soon as possible. People who don't catch alcoholism on time tend to die from it. That is my experience. A lot of unicorns. I've been to so many funerals. I stopped crying 20 years ago from war, but my wife went in crazy tears. Like 2 years ago, one of my employees died. I'm like, what are you crying that much? She's like, Dennis is the first person. I'm like, really? Dennis was the first person that she actually knew that passed away. And in the last 3 years, that was like Dennis time. I don't know. My wife doesn't cry no more but that's the reality. That's the reality. And that's the deal. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. If you have anything resembling what I just talked about, you have to find God to recover. End of story. Nothing else. And it's a scary notion. To find something I don't even believe exists. Are you kidding me? But that's the notion for the alcoholic. Because that's what I have to give up. My God is alcohol. On that notion that there might be a real one after all. Well, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask. And I'm sitting there, I'm not one of you, I'm ready to jet, but this kid would be coming there every day. And bro, if you come to my neighborhood, that is my neighborhood now. If you would come there was people from Philadelphia that didn't come there 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Trust me. Now there's a bunch of hipsters, every property there is $600,000. But back there, nobody was coming there. This kid, like you take one look at him, it looked like he came from golf outing, would come there every night on a public transportation. He was talking to the guys, and I couldn't figure out what his deal was. And like I told you, I knew one thing about me when I was a new guy here. I was 100% fake. Nothing about me was real. I hated my guts being here. And just looking at that kid, I knew he's nothing like me. He was light, he was laughing. There was nothing laughable in my life. But what ended up happening, he sat across from me one night. We ended up talking. I ended up doing Alcoholics Anonymous. And I ended up having results of Alcoholics Anonymous. And what Alcoholics Anonymous is, and what he did, is one alcoholic sharing his experience with another for free and for fun, for the sole purpose of I did not recover here. Nothing happens here. Nothing happens here. You come here, listen to some Russian dude for an hour, you go home. That's it. Nothing happens there. I did not recover. AA, for me personally, it's not the time between the Lord's Prayer and the preamble. That's not AA. Because I can be super awesome for an hour. For me, AA is the time between preamble and the Lord's Prayer. That's Alcoholics Anonymous for me. And that's what my sponsor did for me. Like, I looked what he was doing, not what he was talking. Because everybody has a great game in Alcoholics Anonymous. But that's it. And the first thing he talked to me, the first thing I talked with my new guys is the history. That's it. End of story. Number one. Not for the sake of the knowledge, not for the sake that I know how my society started here. Just for the sake that we know what's going on here. And history shows us that AA worked before we had this, before we had one-liners, old-timers, big book. Worked just fine before we had all that stuff. Because that's what AA is. One alcoholic sharing his experience with another. That's it. And when Scott did that with me, I had the byproduct of that was hope. Bro, I can tell you, I would take a look at my life at that time and it's never been more destroyed and shittier than at that moment. But for whatever reason, I just knew I'm going to be okay. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to put in words. I hope everybody felt that sometime in Alcoholics Anonymous, somewhere. I went on my knees that night, not because, he destroyed that feeling real quickly, but talking about God. Just to clarify some things, I was brought up Catholic. Parents never pushed religion on me. I looked down on people. I was diagnosed with very high IQ. And I reasoned that I thought that I can't connect with other people is because I'm so much smarter than everybody else. That's how this guy thought. Arrogant fuck. That's me. So when he said, you believe in God, I said, no, absolutely not. He said, Ante, have you ever been right? 100% sure. You would bet your life on it. And then it turned up you've been wrong. I'm like, oh yeah, what a long time ago. It's hard to remember, but that was maybe an incident or two. I said, yeah. And he said, well, maybe you've been wrong about God. That is my favorite. We always read those 9-step promises. It's like, those are my promises. The second step. Beautiful. Like you open your mind and you open your heart and you take these actions that you don't believe they're going to work, but you take them anyway. That God, whatever God is, will prove himself to you personally. That's a beautiful promise that became my experience, that became my truth, and I spit it out to every guy that ever sat across from me, whether you like it or not. That's it. That's the deal here. That's the deal here. And I went on my knees that night, not by virtue, by default, because there was nowhere else to go. And I said the prayer to God I didn't believe in or understood. I said, God, I don't know who or what you are, but if you are, I need help. Nothing happened. I'm getting chills as I'm speaking. No, I thought something will happen. Nothing happened. I wrote my inventory. I'm the guy out of the big book. Hold on to the worst item in the stock. What is this guy going to think of me? I give my shebang, give it to Scott. He takes it, twists it upside down and says, tell me the worst thing you did, something that you didn't put on a paper. Like he knew. Like my heart dropped. I'm like, Scott, if you tell this to anybody, I'll execute your whole family, I promise you. It's not a podium story, definitely not, but it's the story any guy ever sat across from me heard. Degrading shit that we do. It's like I told him, I didn't have a 5th-step experience. I wasn't delighted. I was disgusted when I was done. I was disgusted with myself. But I did everything he told me to. I became Mr. AA really quick. I was making my amends. On the inside, I recovered really quickly. And that's why I believe anybody recovery depends not on time, but on how fast are you willing to move your feet. I was moving fast and I was recovering fast. I was super happy. Life on the outside was super shitty. I was working construction for these Mexican guys. I'm always messing around with them. I was their Mexican. And I would get like a paycheck of $300 at the end of the Friday. I would tell Scott, I'm like, bro, like I would make this on Monday before 11 a.m. Like what is this? And like, it would make me like be making amends, paying my stuff back. I was living in that place called Last Stop for like 90 days, and I ended up sponsoring a bunch of guys and girls there. There were like a bunch of girls would be coming there. There would be no women helping them. You know, my sponsor fired me. I eventually went to my grand sponsor, and I would call him Steve. I'm like, dude, there's a bunch of these girls, we don't know what to do with them. He'd tell me, Ante, women wouldn't be in AA if the men didn't sponsor them. But you gotta come with your heart, not with your pants. And I've been privileged doing that. I have never been involved in the Chicks in Alcoholics Anonymous ever, period, until I met my wife. One mistake. We've been married 8 years. But like I said, I became Mr. Alcoholics Anonymous and sponsoring everybody and their mother. And a few years later, the way I see AA, it's like you come as a new person. It's like I like doing puzzles. That's how I see it. You like to bring a puzzle of your life that's shattered in a million pieces. And we tell you, just leave it alone. The reason why it's all messed up is you're trying to arrange it. Just go do this. Let God sort it out for you. That's what happened. I'm about 3 years sober. I peek over my shoulder at my life. Pretty nice. It's not how I designed it, but it's nice. This guy says, thanks God, great, awesome job. But I got it from here. It's like this little piece that just like need to fix. The whole thing drops. And that was it. I was sick. I was, going to meetings 5-7 days a week. If you would walk, I'm the winner. You would send the guys to you, but on the inside I was dying. Then in the middle of the meeting, my buddy Chris Brown was doing his big book study. Me and my friend Claire were there. I was actually helping her husband in the middle of the meeting. I'm like, they just shut up. I didn't say that out loud. Inside, I'm like, shut up with your big book bullshit. I walked out and I got loaded. And then I ended up going back to my house a few hours later, and I swear to you, my living room had more people than this room. There's like a million people. And I'm loaded. My sponsor drove from New York. It was just like a circus. My buddy says, is it true about the phenomenon of craving? I'm like, I'll let you know tomorrow, Boots. And it's true. My grand sponsor passed away last year. He used to say that picking up a drink for an alcoholic is having sex with gorilla. It's over when gorilla says it's over. That's the truth. That's the truth. I wanted to be in AA next day, but alcoholism don't care. I came back to AA August 24, 2008. I woke up out of the blackout like I usually do this time. Phone woke me up. I answered the phone. My friend Katie called me from York. I've been missing for like 4 or 5 days. And she's like, where are you? Everybody's looking for you. There's like a million people around me. I'm like looking for a Philly skyline. I can't even find it. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm fine. I'm looking, like, I have my wallet and stuff. I grabbed the guy in front of me. I'm like, bro, where are we? He said, Almond. Oh, he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, where are we? He says, Almond's Brothers concert in Camden. I'm like, I'm in Camden. Like, I don't know how, hate Almond's Brothers, but I was there. I actually spoke at the meeting. One guy was like, I was there too. I'm like, awesome. And I'm like, all good, don't worry, everything is good. I come back to Philly, I get loaded again and get a bunch of cocaine and a couple of Dominicans and a bunch of vodka, which is always a bad combination. By the end of that night, I got beat up, just typical beat up, stabbed, and they threw me out a closed window of my house in Fishtown. And now I'm in Episcopal I was cut, and I'm talking million cut stitches everywhere, and they all patch me all up, and I'm limping down the Episcopal Hospital, and it's also a bunch of my friends are in the guys that I was sponsoring, a bunch of people from Alcoholics Anonymous. They're like, get in a car, we're taking you to York, Pennsylvania. That's where my sponsor lived. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I got 80 more bucks, and I wouldn't move. And I got loaded one more time in the hospital, and I went to York, Pennsylvania. And I don't know if anybody been to York, Pennsylvania. There's a lot of recovery houses in York, Pennsylvania. I'll give you my experience in York, Pennsylvania. If you see brochures, they will say, come visit beautiful historical York. Okay. Historical it is, because they didn't do any goddamn renovation since like 1500. I'll give them that much. But it is the biggest shithole I haven't been in. And I've been to quite a few. So I'm in York, Pennsylvania. The good thing about this, I didn't know, when I got sober first time, I used to ask my sponsor, I'm like, what's a principle? I didn't know what a principle was. What's a principle? He said, Ante, principle is something that applies to all of us equally. And he compared these spiritual principles to gravity. He said, gravity is the principle of nature. If me and you go up on a roof of this building, if I push you, you're going to go down. And you can say, I don't believe in gravity. But gravity just don't give a shit. It's still going to go down. Same with these principles. They are spiritual in nature. We call them spiritual in nature because they are based on the existence of a loving God. And if you're alcoholic of my type, you are dying because you're lacking application of these principles in your life. And you can say, I don't believe that. That's fine. You can say, I don't like that. Then that's fine too. You can say, I'm not even aware of that. That's fine too. It doesn't change the fact you're dying. But the good thing about these principles, they work again when you apply them. I had a lot of knowledge of what I thought Alcoholics Anonymous and my experience in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's hard to apply. My sponsor would tell me, Ante, the only thing we count here is sobriety. He said, I don't even know why. He said, we drink when we are in some kind of spiritual blackout. But we lie when we are in spiritual blackouts. We don't pick up white coins for lies. We cheat, we manipulate, because we do a whole lot of shit of white coins in this room or in any other room. That was easier for me to come back to Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, I applied the same principles. I got the same results. Like I said, I hated York so much that I stayed there about 2 years. I met my wife and I jetted out of there. And I moved back to Philadelphia about 9 years ago. And I have an awesome life. I have a beautiful life. I came with a lot. Like I told you, my puzzle in Alcoholics Anonymous had a lot of moving pieces. This guy thought I came, like I told you, full academic scholarship. I did my schooling, but then I decided I'm just going to drink for the next few years. And I thought the day I stopped drinking, I'm just going to go back to school and continue. But they frown upon that here. They're like, well, you broke the status of your visa. What does that mean? You're illegal. So this buddy was illegal in this country for 10 years. Because I couldn't, if I would leave the country, I couldn't re-enter. And I had to take care of all my paperwork in order to make amends to my mother. And after 10 years, on my wedding day, my mother and my sister got their visa, and I picked them up on my Newark airport. And I was there on my sobriety checkpoint, sober for the first time in their life. Normal for the first time in their life. First time I was able to be a son and a brother. And a whole lot of stuff happened for me in my recovery, like inside and out. You know what I mean? I hated cubicles, and my degree in risk management is useless. I opened other business that I like. And one of my friends told me that I'm crazy, but I wanted to do something that I like. And I didn't know nothing about opening the business. I do know traditions. I know principles. I opened my business 10 years ago based on these principles. That I'm here to provide a service, not to make money. And you know what happened? I made a shitload of money. When I stopped abusing women and stopped creeping up, that was the commitment I made in Alcoholics Anonymous. I will not date or mess around with nobody here. And I didn't until I met a wife. There's a lot of people who know my wife, and he will vouch that she came to me and I said no. Because she was sober 7 months. And she always tells me that. I'm like, well, we wouldn't be married and happily married for 9 years if I jump like I always do. So I have a beautiful relationship at home. I have like a great business, family, friends. And I have a perfect life. Like perfect life. We were about to start a family September 15 of 2 years ago. Visited my family in Croatia, came back, had some belly pain. don't know what's the deal, go, blah, 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 urgent care here, back and forth a couple of weeks. Stage 4 colon cancer. Exactly. What the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? 40 years old. 6 months prior to that, I just ran half an Ironman in upstate New York. That kind of shape of my life, like stage 4 colon cancer. I'm like, are you serious? Like, try to be spiritual after that. You know, try to wake up in the morning after that. Try to do anything after that. You know what I mean? This is like 80 pounds later. I also apologize. Me and Ron were joking before. I'm losing so much weight that I can't even put a shirt and tie. I have like 1,000 suits that's like 200 pounds, 220, 180, 190. I'm like 155, and I'm not buying any more suits. End of story. So you get this. No shirt and tie. I don't know what's going to happen. God, I feel, doctor said what the doctor said, people say what the people, I think what I think, but I feel God didn't spoke yet. And I don't know, me and my wife live day by day. We are still trying to have family. I'm living like I don't have a cancer, in a sense. You follow me? Still doing AA as much as I can, as much as I physically can. I am still, I don't know. I don't know what God is. I don't know what God's will is. I don't even know if God is real or not. What I do know is that when I live my life as if God is real, He's my loving Father who takes care of me as long as I take care of my brothers and my sisters. My life gets beautiful. My life gets full. My life gets and it's available. There's not a doubt in my heart. I know there's a power that gives me hope, that gives me purpose, that gives me direction, and it's here. I found it, through you people. I found it as the, results of these steps, and for that I thank you. Like I get up every morning, doing what I always do. I own a company. And my life is still beautiful. I get up in the morning, I kiss my beautiful wife, I go out, I can't even believe it. This is my life. I should not be living like this. I should not be living like this. Life is not fair, and thank God it's not fair. Because this guy should have been dead 20 years ago. I've been on extended time. So if you're here new, or if you've been here a while, if you didn't experience the stuff that I talk about, if you didn't experience that ignition in your soul when you meet your sponsor, if you didn't feel like you are happy because you're sober, that you have burning desire to pass this on, then you're doing something wrong. That's all I got to share. Thank you.
Always epic. Thank you. Thank you. It's customary for us to form a line and thank our speaker formally. They come here at their own time and expense to share their experience, strength, and hope. Next week we have Adrian C. coming in from Ireland. He's actually in the United States. He still speaks like he's from Ireland, right? Anyway, don't forget the meeting after the meeting. We've got a nice way of closing. If you care to join us, if you want to give us a hand, put some chairs away. That's always a lot of fun. See you next week.